To author our character to be caretakers of our own narrative.
To craft content contrary to convoluted constructs.
Ensuring that our history is being told in our own language.
We can no longer apologize for fighting for the freedom in our walk.
Or stand still while being moved in the direction of mischaracterization.
Because it's time for the world to acknowledge that our lives, our love, and our legacy have and always will matter.
We decided on not being decided on without our damn permission. So call it defiance, non-compliance, cast us hellbound, demonize us, do whatever you have to do to keep us quiet. We just refuse to be miswritten, misspoken on, reliant on, or indicted on misconstrued versions of the truth. So broadcast this, it's what the anchorman missed. They are limitless, plucked wings that still manage to fly, ex-mental prisoners of someone else's expectations. Our brains and our bodies were never meant to be beaten into submission to temper fearful dispositions. Our strength holds the stars in place. It takes the night to mold soldiers, and we are eternal warriors, audacious dancers, the deepest of lovers. We are your fathers, your sons, your mothers, and your daughters. We are your teachers, leaders, keepers of cultural secrets, possibilities, and opportunities. So we decided to speak in our honor, in our celebration, speak over history, speak out of love, to speak into existence the real of our resilience, highlight our brilliance, to come to the understanding that we are all the same children of this world we live in, and as we have not left them, y'all will not leave us. So, we decided
to not be silent.
To reach into our throats for the words that shouldn't have to be said.
To author our character to be caretakers of our own narrative.
To craft content contrary to convoluted constructs.
Ensuring that our history is being told in our own language.
We can no longer apologize for fighting for the freedom in our walk.
Or stand still while being moved in the direction of mischaracterization.
Because it's time for the world to acknowledge that our lives, our love, and our legacies have and always will matter.
On this,
we decided.
You all can clap. That's okay. I know. Feels strange to do that in a church. So as I make my way up here, I would like to thank very much D. Ruff, one of my co-performers here. D. Ruff, thank you. As well as Free, where'd you go? Thank you. Y'all can give them both a round of applause again. And I am Jadi Amasi, and I'm very, oh, thank you. I'll take that as well. And so, wow, this is really high up. I know I stood up here before, but Joy was like, no, you have to go all the way up to the top, So yes, thank you all so very much for having us today and for giving us the opportunity to join you. We three poets, artists, native Bostonians, we come to you from an organization called the If You Can Feel It, You Can Speak It. I knew y'all were gonna do that. Open mic movement. And we are a group of poets who have had the distinct pleasure and opportunity of performing and creating space in this city for over 15 years. And to be able to, yeah, y'all can clap for that too. Listen, friends, we're gonna continue to clap, okay? Every time I say something, if you are feeling it, you can clap. This is going to be the loudest part of the service, I promise you. But yes, and so in that time, we've been able to cultivate a number of experiences and relationships all across the city, but performing poetry as a group is one of the things that brings us the most joy. Typically, we perform what we call this here, these poetry flash mobs outside in public places with unsuspecting audiences all around the city. And it's an opportunity to invite folks into a conversation with us. It's an opportunity for us to say, you might not have come here today to have this discussion, to hear this word, to engage in this dialogue, but we're here, you're here, so let's do it. And so to be able to perform it here with you all this morning means a lot to us.
Thank you. Oh, okay, y'all are really gonna clap. Okay, this is good, this is good. And so this particular poem is titled We Decided, and we wrote this poem as a collective of over 13 poets who came together to put this piece together. And what the poem is mostly focused on, amongst a number of things, is this idea of, centering the intentionality that is necessary to say, not only do we have a history, but that it matters. Not only do we have an agency in this history, but that it truly matters. And how can we reflect back to a world that has decided to position us and categorize us and box us in one way, that no, actually, we are more than what you have regulated us to be. We are more than what you have reduced us to be. We are more than what you have attempted to erase as part of our truths. And so that poem is meant to touch very briefly on a number of subjects related to the oppression, the harm, and the pure violence that has been committed against so many folks throughout our histories, including ourselves, based on our intersectional identities. And so I hope y'all heard some of that in it. If you didn't, that's okay. It's recorded, so you will hear it again, and we can also provide you the writings. But this form of communication, this form of storytelling, poetry, spoken word poetry, is one way that we see this opportunity to expand narratives, right? We are understanding that our histories in written form, the way that they're educated and taught, are relatively limited. We understand that history is presented to us as a society from very narrow perspectives, often centering or focusing on only one particular side of a story, certainly upholding power dynamics, certainly upholding notions of oppression. And so we see art and spoken word poetry as a way to take back some of that control, take up some of that space, invite people to consider other truths, other opportunities, right? And really invite people into an opportunity to think about expansive narratives and to think about radical truth-telling. There is a healing for all of us in radical truth-telling. If we are able to sit with and honor and be uncomfortable with an entire full truth, there is a healing for all of us to have in that. And so we believe that through the art of spoken word poetry, we can bring folks closer to that. But I also have the distinct pleasure of doing this work from a different side of things. And so not only am I a spoken word artist and a community convener in this beautiful city, I am also part of an amazing team of designers, architects, landscape architects, graphic designers, filmmakers, storytellers, and the like, and have the distinct pleasure of working here at King's Chapel on a project that is also focused on radical truth-telling and unearthing histories and sharing with broader audiences the truths that we can all heal from. And so in addition to being part of the If You Can Feel It, You Can Speak It team, I work as a principal at Mass Design Group. Snap for that too, thank you. And Mass Design Group is the design firm that is in collaboration with artist Armonía Rosales, and together our team is working with the Memorial Committee here at King's Chapel to think about, how can we help the church, the congregation, the religion, the institution, to focus on this moment of writing history. And I say writing both starting with an R as well as with a W, right? How can we help them with this writing of history by expanding on a truth? And so we all understand and know, or will know by the time we're done here, that there's been some research done around the relationship of slavery and enslavement here in this church relative to the founding of the church, the economics of the church, the stability of the church, and understanding with the reading of these names that there were upwards of 219 folks enslaved by members and leaders within this church. And so how do we tell that story? How do we make sure that the upwards of 4 million folks that come by this church on the Freedom Trail every year walk away knowing the rich, important, critical history of a King's Chapel, and also understanding some more intricate, nuanced truths of that history, of this city, of this region? How can we help to contribute to this expansion of narrative? And so the project, some of the information is actually out right before these doors. Here's on the right-hand side, y'all might have saw a trifold that talked a little bit about that project, and there are brochures that will explain it. But essentially, Armonía Rosales has a two-part approach where she is creating a beautiful sculpture that will sit out in the north courtyard, and it is this regal woman who is representing, amongst many things, this idea of being boundless, this idea of freedom. And inside the church, there are opportunities and conversations to think about a mural that will continue on those narratives and continue on those themes. But rather than focusing specifically on the concepts, which you all will be able to read up on the website as well as in the brochure, I just want to end briefly with you all today to talk about why. Why would we do any of this work? Why would we do a project like this? Why here? Why now? And I think first I would say, why not? Why not King's Chapel? Why not this congregation? Why not Boston? Why not? We have, thank you, yep, y'all can clap for that too. But we have a wealth of resources and opportunity to be transformative, catalytic leaders in how we as a people, as a society, as a country, embrace one another, embrace our ugliest truths, so that we really, truly, profoundly have an opportunity to seek healing, permanent healing, from the atrocities that have afflicted every single one of us. And so why not start, or continue, rather, these opportunities for true interaction, deep dialogue, uncomfortable conversations about how we got where we are today, about how our histories are so intricately tied into one another's, quite honestly, and how it is that we want to be a better people, a better human society towards one another moving forward. I think projects like this that we're doing here at King's Chapel in collaboration with Armonía Rosales are the beginning of a much larger movement that we're going to continue to see in cities like Boston and across the country and across the globe, where we're no longer relying on just our school systems, on our politics, to remind us of how we should regard and hold and treat one another as we continue to heal. But instead, we can bring it to the streets. We can let it be in the public realm. We can let it be in our hearts. We can let it be with each other. It can be direct. And so with that, I thank you all again for the opportunity to be here with you this morning. I thank you for the opportunity to share some high-level and brief thoughts with you. But more importantly, I thank you for being willing to join us all on these journeys of radical truth-telling, reconciliation, and healing. Happy Sunday.